We have, today, it's the most accessible song catalogue in the world, alongside the Beatles, Lennon and McCartney, and that covers the United States as well. I can't ever recall a moment where we tried to be a certain thing. We just had fun and wrote songs, and our only concern was those songs be sung and recognised. We started composing from the age of 8 in Manchester. Our father had to go to Australia for work because he had a big family to support, and it was a question of survival. It wasn't a question of grooming a young group. It was, he didn't realise what we were doing. And when we got to Australia, it was something on our own initiative that we just composed and sang around. Our father went out into the bush and became a photographer for families that were well away from civilization. He had no idea what we were doing. Our mother was very ill because she couldn't acclimatise and mosquito bites. She was bedridden, and we had to rely on a £20 cheque that came every week from our father, which didn't always come, and we had to go down to the post office and collect it. And that was our bread and butter, which is about all they could afford. Quite honestly, we were struggling, and that was our only means of generating any money to live on. We were performing at Redcliffe Speedway, which is in Brisbane, one day, just for fun, between races. They approached us after the race and said, I do a drive time show on 4BH. He said, I want you to come in to 4BH. The twins, me and Morris, were 9, and Barry was about 12. He said, come in, and we'll do some acetates. We'll record. For those of you who don't know what acetate is, it's exactly the same as burning a disc, really, only they last longer. But anyway, I love the smell of acetate. But he said, come in and we'll record, and I'll play them on my drive time show. This was novelty to us, because do you write your own songs? You're very young for that. Barry said yes. And so we did 3 songs: Let Me Love You, Echo of Your Love, and Time Is Passing By, which you can see it on the internet. Time Is Passing By is on the internet. It's our first TV appearance in 1960. And I was knee high, I was like that big, and singing on Sydney TV show. But anyway, I digress. He said, you've got to have a name, a temporary name. Let's see what we can come up with. Initials is the order of the day. It seems to be. So my initials, brother's initials, brother's Gibb, your mother's initials. Let's just call you BJs for the moment. And for some unknown reason, we didn't say no. It stuck. We didn't hit the heights in Brisbane. We had to go to Sydney for that, because that's the hub where all the record companies are, and the TV stations that served Australia nationally. If you made it in Sydney, you made it nationally, and it was the stepping stone for going so far and developing our craft. Brisbane was good while it lasted, but we had to leave to go where the action was, and we've always done that. Growing up in Australia, you've got all these stations. We were exposed to American black music, which really influenced us in a great way. That time we spent in Australia was invaluable, because we wouldn't have been exposed to that kind of music had we been in the UK. We weren't self-conscious about doing music that white artists are not supposed to do. We weren't afraid of anything. We had nothing when we arrived in England. We were broke. We slept on floorboards in a semi-detached in Hendon, in foggy weather, with no contacts, no names or anything. And yet, 2 months later, we were in the top 10 in the US and the UK.